Good morning and welcome to the WSJM Morning Show. This is the video live stream edition. It's 7 o'clock Eastern Time on Thursday, April 24th. For the full hour today, we're going to be talking robotics because it's Robotics Roundup. It's our final, it's our season finale.
Yes, it is.
No cliffhangers here. We're going to lay it all out.
Time to give a wrap up and take a deep breath and wait till the fall.
Get ready for next year.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim Dunaj is my guest this morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. Tim Dunaj is here, and Tim is a world traveler for robots. He'll go anywhere for robotics, right?
I definitely, most definitely.
You went to Houston recently. How was it?
It was good. It was a whirlwind trip.
Yeah.
A lot of hard work because while the students are there doing their best, we have to do our best as volunteers and as judges.
Okay.
So a lot of work goes behind the scene.
What was your official role?
So normally I'm a judge advisor.
Okay.
Which means I just coordinate the judges, give them tasks, let them get out and do it. But when you go to Houston, it's the same role, but I'm a stage advisor.
Oh, a stage advisor. What is a stage advisor?
The exact same thing that a judge advisor does, but now we have
They just change your name.
Yeah, because we have 8 fields of play.
Yeah.
Each field has 75 teams on it. So each one of the fields is named after someone within the science field.
Oh, okay.
So I was on the Newton field.
Nice.
The Newton
That's
field.
a good get.
Yes. So,
were there any science fields that you wanted to be on that you didn't get?
Well, I unknowingly really wanted the Newton field because it was the closest distance judging. Ours is our room is on the 3rd floor at the back of the building at the George R. Brown Convention Center.
Okay.
And the Newton field was on the same end of the building.
Okay.
A couple years ago, I was on the Archimedes field, which is the opposite end.
Just use a lever to get yourself there.
Yes.
The golden lever.
Of leverage and a lot of steps. And I didn't have to take all those steps this year. So, so I very much appreciate beating on managing the Newton field.
That's good. Let's talk about the important stuff. Food. Did they feed you well while you were there?
They feed us well. Plus, after hours, a group of judges, people that I've gotten to know over the 15 years of being involved. It's like a group of friends that you don't see but once a year, but when you do, you pick up right where you left off.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So we just found a couple of places to eat that were all within walking distance.
Speaking of being on your feet, you run.
Yes.
How did you get any runs in while you're down there?
No, I did not. As a matter of fact, I have a 5K in a week, just over a week, and I have not run since Fort Myers Beach in January. So,
oh my gosh!
Yeah, and
Tim,
middle of May, I go up to Mackinac Island for a Fort to Fort 5-mile run.
You're gonna do great.
Yeah, sure.
You're going to do great. Get some new shoes, though. Your other shoes might be a little...
true. This is true.
All right. Well, we're going to be talking about robotics stuff and anything else that pops up. And if you want to join the conversation, please do. Just put your chat in on the video live stream there. And we'll ask Tim about it because, I mean, there's a lot that happens at the robotics competitions. When we see him in St. Joe, it's a madhouse. So I can't even imagine what the state was like and what Worlds was like.
Yeah.
So we'll get a good bird's eye view of that from Tim. And that is coming up in just a moment after our local news. Local news, you want to stay tuned because we've got a really interesting story. This one is a local story involving South Haven players, but it originated in Dover, Tennessee. So stay tuned and listen for that in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show. Okay, and good morning. Welcome back to the WSJM Morning Show. Robotics Roundup is brought to you by Lake Michigan College, by Cook Nuclear, and by Berrien Springs Public Schools. We appreciate them investing in our kids' future by, in part, bringing visibility to the robotics competitions that are happening. Tim, welcome back from Houston.
Thank you.
What was your key takeaway from how our area teams did? I'll ask you for the full setup in just a few moments, but what was your key takeaway? How are you feeling about how our area teams did overall?
I'm thinking that the teams are ecstatic. Nobody walked away as the world champion, but you were on the fields of play where the world champion was determined.
Yeah.
So, we talked a little bit, the Bionic Bison out of New Buffalo, they did not qualify immediately after the Michigan Championship, but because a couple of other teams across the state deferred, I found out that they were going to be in Houston. They were on the field that I was responsible for. So everything from that point on is just icing on the cake. I actually talked to one of the mentors, and that was the statement he made. It's like, from here on out, everything is just icing upon icing upon icing.
So how many teams qualify for the World?
So there were 600 teams.
So they invite 600 teams, and some might defer.
Yeah, there's 8 fields of play, 75 teams per field, over 50,000 attendees. That's K through 12, because the first Lego League and first Tech Challenge was also happening.
Okay.
So over 50,000 attendees, robotics teams from 66 countries, and over 1,000 robots.
Over 1,000 robots.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And energy, positivity. That's the other thing I take away from it, is just, it's such a positive environment.
So that sense of cooperation, both competition and cooperation, alive there and doing well.
Yeah, in the game, and then also, like we talked about, it's that many volunteers, and just, you're just another cog in the wheel, and this whole thing comes together. A week prior, the field needed, all the fields and everything needed to be set up. And we go there. I know I did it, and I saw someone else do the same thing, where you take a picture of, like, here's imagine 8 football fields end to end to end to end. Well, that's what you have, the competition, and you have the stands on both sides, and you take a picture of it, and it just does not convey, whether the stands are empty or whether they're full. It just does not convey the magnitude of
8 football fields long competition.
Well, I mean, it's ours aren't a football field, but if you imagine, it's just that, because that's something people can understand. It's like, well, so we take,
but it's that huge.
It is the field is a basketball size, but because of all the queuing and everything, you're definitely half of a football field, in just for one.
Now we're half of a football field.
Half of a football,
right,
but
he's revising his estimate.
We're much louder. We're much louder.
I agree. I can attest to that.
Yeah.
It's incredibly loud.
Yes.
The kids get really excited. No, any robot fires.
No, I did not hear of any robot
because lithium-ion batteries.
Yes, you have potential for anything like that. So I'm sure there was a little smoke let out, but nothing that combusted.
Good.
Nothing big enough to have to evacuate the building.
That's good. That's good to hear. We're going to continue this interview with Tim Dunaj in just a moment. We'll set it up and give you kind of the rundown of how the season went, and how 3 teams from our area got the opportunity to go compete in Worlds. That's coming up next right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
IENhearing.com.
Mostly sunny skies today. We have warm temperatures as well. We do end up in the upper 70s and low 80s this afternoon with light winds. Tonight, this evening, quiet. We'll see increasing clouds overnight and a chance of a few showers. We drop to 57. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, off and on a few showers and thunderstorms with a high of 72. I'm WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
717, temperature out in Benton Harbor, St. Joseph, South Haven, Buchanan, New Buffalo, Dowagiac, about 51 degrees, give or take, and a beautiful start to the day. It's Thursday, April 24th, and we have first robotics. We have the Robotics Roundup. It's happening this hour. This is our season finale for robotics, for the Robotics Roundup, and we decided to end it with Tim Dunaj. That's the way we started the season. This is the way we're going to end the season.
Yes.
Talking with our robot expert, Tim Dunaj, who you're usually a judge advisor, right?
Yes.
Is that your official role?
That's the official title.
The official title of your role, and unless you go to a world competition, then you're a stage advisor.
Exactly.
And you advise. Did you just sit there and look at the stage and advise it the whole time? Just stay flat. Stay flat. Don't trip anybody. No.
I manage a panel of judges, and I give them a task, and then right after I give them a task, I'm chasing around going, "Are you done yet? Are you done yet?"
How many judges do you have to manage when you're doing that?
I have to manage less judges at World than I do for the St. Joe competition, because it's so tough to get people there.
Oh, okay.
So we have 40 teams at the St. Joseph or Berrien Springs event, and we had panels of 20 judges to take care of those. Down there, I had a panel of 16 judges, 2 additional judges who were match observers to interview 75 teams.
That's fantastic. All right, let's reset. So we're talking with Tim Dunaj. We're talking about Robotics Roundup, and First Robotics is a science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics activity that the kids get involved in, and it's a serious investment. not only of their brain power and their social powers,
Yes.
but also some financial as well. And so the season starts in January when they do a kickoff. They name the game and they say, here's what the competition is going to be for everyone who wants to compete in this robotics challenge worldwide. Here's the challenge. Here's the parameters. Here's what it's going to look like. Here are your guardrails. Go. And they have a season.
Yes.
And the season culminates with both the regional, you have the area competitions, then you have the state competition,
yes,
and then you have the world competition.
Yeah. So Michigan itself is a district. So our district championship in the world of first, it's a district championship. It happens to be the state of Michigan championship.
And Michigan is tough because we have probably more teams per capita than anyone else.
Yeah, 530 teams in the state of Michigan. I bumped into several Michigan teams down there, and the number one thing I would hear from them, not just teams from our area, but others that I know from having been involved for a while. And you get down there and no matter which field that they're on, the 8 divisions, the team always goes, we've got the toughest division. and I'm, what? Everybody has a tough division. And the thing is, you just came through the toughest district in the state of Michigan. There are several teams that show up at world competition that probably would have a tough time competing at the Michigan championship.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure because Michigan is the toughest.
Yeah.
We're the best.
There's just the mass and I think the way that our programs run, the First Tech Challenge, the middle school kids, when they get to the state, or excuse me, if a First Tech Challenge team qualifies for world, they're at a disadvantage because the age requirements and the grade requirements across the rest of the world are 7th grade through 12th grade. So our middle schoolers could be facing somebody who has much facial hair as you and I.
Oh boy.
But it all kind of comes around when you get to the first robotics competition. You start to see the experiences that those teams have.
Yeah.
It kind of develops them a little bit more for when they get to high school.
So run through the stats. You had wow us with some numbers here that we just talked about.
I rattled off to you, over 50,000 attendees, spectators, participants, everybody.
50,000 people at this thing.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Robotics teams from 66 countries.
Okay.
More than 1,000 robots participating. I was responsible for teams on the Newton field. We had 10 countries represented on my field. Teams from the United States, Canada, Dominican Republic, France, 3 teams from Turkey, 3 teams from Israel, 3 teams from Sao Paulo, Brazil, a team from China, Australia, and India.
No kidding.
And I had a judge who was from India also.
Did that present any unique challenges? Were there language barriers?
There are barriers, but
cultural barriers.
They should. Well, there's cultural differences. I wouldn't say that they're barriers.
Okay.
That's the one thing I love about a first event is there's so much positivity. There are no barriers.
Yeah.
It's just people working together and figuring out. For me, I have not. This year, I did not get to see it. Actually, this year, I told my wife when I got back, I saw 0 robot matches because I was busy.
Didn't get to see any matches?
No.
What are you doing here?
Not live matches.
Okay.
I mean, because there's a part that we have to take care of in the background.
All right. You got busy work.
And I chose to leave early on Saturday because Easter Sunday, I wanted to be back home.
That makes sense.
So I didn't get the chance to sit back and watch any, but still, I got to interact with a lot of teams in the pits, which is really kind of my favorite area. But I know at some point in time, there was at least 4 different countries. I mean, of 6 teams that are playing, there's a good chance that 4 countries were represented on the field to play at the same time. And students have to figure out a way to communicate, knowing that they understand the game and they manage a way to do that, whatever language differences they may have.
Talk about the teams that we sent from Southwest Michigan.
So the teams that we sent from Southwest Michigan, I want to do a quick backtrack. Let's talk about the teams that made it to the Michigan State Championship.
Okay.
You and I haven't had a chance to really, and I know some of the teams have been in, but I want to make sure we highlight.
Average Joe's came in twice.
Average Joe's had enough stuff that in their season that was worthy of coming in twice. So,
the Impact Award.
Team 4855, Ramageddon out of South Haven. They won a First Impact Award at South Haven, which qualified them to go interview for that and take their robot to state competition. The Wired Cats out of Matawan also qualified for state competition. Bionic Bison, they got to world. They had to have gone to state, so they did there. The Average Joes, in addition to winning a First Impact Award, They won robot competitions, their own that they hosted. They won in Woodhaven. They won on one of the 4 fields of play up at the state championship.
Yeah.
Didn't make it to, they did not win the state championship, but they had a pretty good time. So
they got chosen for a really key alliance.
Yes. And that helped them along the way.
Yeah.
We had 3 rookie teams this year start up. So Team Lance Bebot exists now. The Green Machines, which is a Berrien Springs rookie team, and the Bebotics program in Bridgman.
Yeah.
All 3 of those teams were selected at a competition as a rookie all-star team. So they all interviewed at state to represent the state at Worlds. None of them qualified for that, but it's a great experience for the students to go basically do an interview for, it's training for what they're going to do later in life to kind of talk about and sell themselves, selling a product.
Yeah. And that's part of the thing. When you think about like Bebotics, for instance, they just started a team this year. They're as a rookie team. It's not just about putting the robot together.
Yeah.
Like you said, there are several different aspects. There's the marketing, the engineering of it, community involvement.
Yes, all of those pieces. And of those 3 teams, Team Lance Bebot, their robot did not qualify, didn't have enough points, but the Green Machines and the Bebotics team, their robot qualified and enough points to go compete. So they interviewed, but then they also were competing at the state competition.
Okay.
So you had those teams that competed at state competition, and several of them won awards up at state competition. So 8 area teams competed at Michigan State competition to then go to Worlds, where Team Lancebot went. Their season was an awesome season too, because they finished as a finalist here in St. Joe.
Yeah.
They won at the Berrien Springs event. They won awards at both those events, and then they won an award at the Michigan State Championship. Ironically enough, I volunteered as a judge, not a judge advisor, up at the state championship.
Okay.
And they were on our field of play. So I've got some good friends that are mentors on that. And I knew throughout the day on Friday that they had won awards. And it's kind of fun to sit there and know things and hear good things about the team come into the room. I never bring anything into the room unless it is introduced at the competition. And I didn't even interview them, but you overhear things. So it's fun to hear that and see that. And then to see their excitement when, especially one of the students, he's a driver on the team, and as their script is being read, I happen to be glancing over the top of their head. Don't want to give it away that they're going to get an award, but I saw his reaction. And as somebody who writes scripts, that's what you want, is that moment where it catches the students and they're surprised, and then you get to see them come down. So
by the way, the script is the announcement that tells you you've won the award, and they keep it very secret, and you kind of have to keep guessing. Are they talking about us? Are they talking about us?
We try to give little clues that only that team knows. Only the team knows. For me, because generally scripts are three sentences.
Okay.
And in the second sentence, the test of a good script is in the second sentence. If you hear a squeal from the audience, you know that the team knows, and then everyone else is looking around going, "What is that?" And then the next sentence tells everybody in the room who won the award.
That's great. That's great.
I mean, so those are some of the highlights. Bionic Bison, they had a great season. They were an alliance captain, so that's how their robot performs. They're one of the top teams at the end of qualifications, and they get to select their permanent partners. So they were an alliance captain at both their competitions and at the state competition. And then at Worlds, they were selected. At Worlds, you select 2 robots. An alliance captain selects 2 robots. Normally at a district competition, they'll just tell the extra robots to stick around in case somebody breaks down.
Yeah.
What they do at World is they just have them select the 4th member of the alliance.
Okay.
The Bionic Bison got selected as the 4th member of an alliance
because their robot was performing so well.
Performing very well.
Okay.
And I was watching for it, and I happened to look away, and then when I turned, I saw the students that I recognized walking, and one of them just made eye contact with me, and he had a great big smile on his face, and I was I was ecstatic, and I'm not even a part of the team, but it's an area team doing well.
Let's be honest, Tim. You're. It's difficult not to recognize you.
Yeah,
because typically you've got an interesting hat.
Yes.
And for those who are on the video live stream, would you put the hat on for just a moment?
This was a gift from the team, a team. So this is the Heist, the Heist out of Huntersville, North Carolina. And then there's a button from Team Fathom out of Florida. Both of whom, not because I got the bling, but both of whom won awards on the Newton Field.
Why does it have bunny ears on it?
So the bunny ears is because the World Championship took place over Easter, and these were left over from 7 years ago. You know, I have those things that you're just like, I need to throw that away. Why do I have it? 7 years ago, the Michigan Championship fell on Easter weekend.
Oh, there you go.
And I had a team that gave me a set of ears, and then the following day brought back ears for all of my judge panel. So I literally wore this out of Houston.
Right.
Competition, not a big deal.
Got it through TSA, okay?
Get on the plane. People are like, hey, some of the people are leaving the competition. Then I landed in Chicago Midway, and I'm like, I'm doing this all the way. I took it all the way out to the parking garage. Nobody questioned.
That's
I think
fantastic.
They were concerned.
See, it's that energy, that enthusiasm we love. Tim Dunaj, hang around. We've got some messages to get to. We've got to get our news reports. We're going to have more of the Robotics Roundup. We're going to talk about continue talking about World's competition and what's next. I mean, right now is probably the time if you're thinking about, a young person in school who wants to get involved. We'll tell you how. Yep. That's coming up right here on the WSJM Morning Show. That's fun. Thanks for sharing the story about your hat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so you're going to hang on to it. Did you pick up any new kitsch?
This will be a Jazz Fest hat at some point.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a jazz hat.
My Jazz Fest shirt. Today's first day.
New
of
Orleans.
Jazz Fest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I will. I have to share a story with you.
You can. Well, share it on the video live stream right now. We got time.
So last year I went down to Jazz Fest. First time ever going. I'm a big Jimmy Buffett fan. The Coral Reefer Band was reuniting to play down there.
Is Jimmy Buffett jazz?
Jimmy Buffett is.
I mean, God rest his soul, but
yeah. He's very much about jazz. So Jazz Fest is not all jazz.
Okay.
Pearl Jam's playing there this week.
What?
Yeah. I saw last year, I saw amongst the Coral Reefer Band, I also saw the Foo Fighters. I mean,
wow. Okay.
You got the blues tent, the gospel tent.
School me on this. This is good.
Yeah. So in any case, I met some friends. Now they're good friends. I met them down at Jazz Fest last year.
Yeah.
Just asked a question, and it started a conversation, and we had a great time talking. Saw them a second day, and they added me to their text group for planning for Jazz Fest. They live in Houston.
Okay.
And we were in touch throughout the entire year because the number of times Houston teams played Detroit teams in sports. The Tigers played the Astros. The Houston Texans played the Lions. Just recently in basketball, Texas A&M played, and they're big Aggie fans.
Okay.
So anyway, we met up, had dinner on Wednesday. They came to the robotics competition. They're hooked. Absolutely hooked.
Wow.
Had a blast of a time. Sent some awesome pictures. They absolutely love the entire thing.
Did they give you this shirt?
No, I bought this shirt.
Oh, that was last year. Okay, I thought that was this year's. Okay,
but I put it on because I had hoped to get to Jazz Fest this year, but I need to I need to do some adult.
Somebody take your traveling pants away.
I need to take care of some responsibilities so I can go play next year.
All right, no, that's good. Jazz Fest, Foo Fighters,
Foo
and
Fighters.
Pearl Jam is there this year.
Yes, yeah. Last year the Stones were the opening. We were there because it's a 2-weekend event. The second weekend on Thursday was the Rolling Stones.
That's incredible. Have you ever seen the Stones perform live?
I saw my son, two good friends, and we saw them at Soldier Field in 2019.
Wow.
Yeah, before the pandemic and before Charlie passed away.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and at that point, Mick was 75 years old, and I'd seen some good acts before. Yeah. Definitely the best front man I'd ever seen.
I wonder, has he released a diet book on what he eats?
He just gyrates and whatever.
It's just amazing.
And their stage is the width of a football field.
It's
he's
huge.
Going out 30, 40 yards or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. What a great institution they are. I saw him at FedEx Field
Where's FedEx?
It's outside of Washington,
Okay.
D.C.
Okay. Yep.
In Maryland. It's where the then Washington Redskins were
Okay.
playing.
So it's RFK, right?
No, RFK's in town.
Okay.
And then they decided this isn't good enough for us, so we're going to have FedEx build us a field out there in Maryland.
Okay.
And they did, and it was beautiful. And I mean, Rolling Stones
So what
played.
happens at RFK Stadium? Is it gone? Or?
No, I don't think it's gone. I think it's still there, but they were playing soccer in it for the longest time.
Yeah.
And there was a move to bring the football team back in.
Okay.
At that, but I don't know if they have to rebuild it or demolish it or remodel it. I don't know what's happening there. It's been a while. But it's been a second, but it was very convenient because you just get on the metro on Capitol Hill and you take it straight out to the Armory and you get off and you walk half a mile and you get into RFK Stadium. Super easy to see something.
Mm-hmm.
The neighborhoods in between, not always that great.
That's the way it is around.
That's the way it is. But then you can drive out to FedEx Field. And so anyway, all right, it's 7:35. We're talking with Tim Dunaj about robotics and other things. We've got the Bloomberg Market Minute coming up in just a moment. We also have our Moody on the Market update that we'll be getting to. Let's check in on the live stream right now. Alex says good morning. Dan says good morning. Dan Hansen also says, looking good as ever, Tim. And then he says,
that was before
this
the
was
hat.
before the hat.
The hat. I mean, Dan's got to be really impressed.
And he said you as well, Ken. So thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. And then Diane says, good morning. Very interesting guest. Congratulations to the winners and the competitors. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know how I read interesting.
No, it's good. That's a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's a good. I take that as a good thing. All right, we've got the Bloomberg Market Minute on the air right now. Who won the overall? Do you remember?
They were actually the final alliance partner out of the Newton field, my field.
Oh, really? Okay, hold that story because we're going to wrap up the Bloomberg Market Minute. We'll come back in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
51 degrees in Benton Harbor and in St. Joseph and in South Haven and Dowagiac and New Buffalo. We're heading up toward a high of 80 degrees today. That's the weather forecast. Mostly sunny skies. We've already got the sunshine out there. We don't have the temperature yet, but we do have a high today predicted somewhere in the mid to upper 70s, probably 80 degrees inland as well. Going to get up to that 80 today. South winds 5 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast, increasing clouds, a 30% chance of showers, low around 57. Tomorrow, Friday, mostly cloudy and a 70% chance of showers and storms. If you have anything you want to do outside, do it today.
Yeah.
Do it.
That's that yard work I've been kind of not tackling, but
what kind of yard work do you have? Do you like clean up, winter cleanup?
I got to do winter cleanup. I have 4 large trees that have been dropping stuff, plus the neighbors' trees drop some stuff. It's just it doesn't matter because as soon as I get done cleaning it up and we get a little rain and wind tomorrow, it's all back down there again. So
a lot of people have been doing yard work. A lot of people have been doing cable work as well for like the internet.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I've got a story. You got time?
Well, I got a little time. And my time is your time.
No. So earlier this week, I've got a neighbor who moved in, and they were hooking up their high-speed internet, and there were 2 companies involved in this. I'll call them Company A and Company B. Company A was
not Company Xfinity.
Maybe one of them was one. Maybe the other one rhymed with Schmay TNT or something like that. But anyway, so one of the companies comes and installs this high-speed internet service, and long story short, they left a line dangling from from up above.
Okay.
So it's in the middle of the alley and it's hanging down to where I can reach it. My wife, Stephanie, will not let me touch it. I mean, because I know I could just like grab it. And she says, no, maybe, who knows what went wrong with it, why it's just hanging there. But they just left it hanging there. And so I'm already cranky about that. Well, then Company B calls us. They reached out to us. And said, hey, we've detected a problem with your internet line. We'd like to send a tech person out to fix it.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, we'll do that. So we'll go through the whole long rigmarole, set up the appointment. Gentleman shows up, does a great job. He finds where the line comes in from the alley, and he unscrews the little, the coaxial line. Yep. He unscrews the coaxial line. I'm sitting there talking to him, and he says, oh, here's your problem. He's unscrewed the line, and he says, oh, here's your problem.
Because he's disconnected.
well, no, but he says, here's your problem. He brings the coaxial cable out, turns it upside down, and water pours out.
Nice.
Water pours out of the coaxial cable. If you know what coaxial cable is, if you were, anywhere from the 1980s till now, you know how cable's hooked up.
Right.
It's got that little copper wire in the middle, and then insulation, and then some kind of mesh thing, and then the plastic stuff. And why is there water in my coaxial line? How did it get there? All these other questions start to come to mind. And he says, basically, water, when it gets in the line, I'll tell you how in a minute. When it gets in the line, it acts like a barrier, like a mirror, and it stops the signal from going forward. I don't know if that's actually...
Yes.
Is that the case?
Yes.
Okay. Engineer here, he knows.
Tim knows. Communications.
And so he said, what probably happens is a squirrel, or squirrels, plural, they chew the line. He sees it all the time. They chew the line. That breaks the seal of the cable. Water gets in.
Wow.
And therefore you get these problems. He said, and he showed me from the time that he started the visit, nothing but errors on our line. After the visit, when he ran the new line, nothing but green, all good. So we gave him a 10 out of 10 for service. Thank you. I asked him if he could take care of the dangling line in the alley. He said, no, I can't. We get in trouble if we touch the competitors.
Okay, because it is the competitors.
It was the competitor stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I wonder if you were to reach up and, because you're not going to get shocked or anything, but if you grab that line and kink it, would you slow down their high speed?
I don't want to do that. No, but what I do, because it's just dangling there and it's an open end, and so I'm thinking I'll just get the same thing that I use to cut branches, the big long pole thing.
Okay.
Just snip that. Could I do that? Because it's not going to anybody's house.
As long as you keep it secretive and don't tell anybody.
I won't tell anybody about it.
There we go.
All right. 7:41. It's the WSJM morning show. More in a minute. All right, Tim. We've got a lot to cover in a little bit of time. So let's see. Where do you want to start? You want to talk about how?
So let me give the wrap up on Bionic Bison. Bionic Bison were selected as the 4th member of an alliance for the Newton Field and ended up as a finalist. So they were one of the last 64 robots that were playing in the world.
Wow.
So they were a couple of matches away from qualifying to, and they ended up losing to their alliance, lost to the alliance that ended up winning the entire event.
They lost to the world champions.
They lost to the world champions. If you're going to lose, that's the people you want to lose to.
Wow.
So instead of going, I lost to the person who lost to the person who lost to the team, they lost to the team.
Okay.
And it was an impressive team too.
That's
so
something.
that team, they came off of my field, and I happened to look here real quick. So the team was, there were 2 teams that were out of California, another team that was out of the Pacific Northwest, Washington. And ironically enough, when I went through Chicago Midway and I drove to Chicago Midway to fly out, they connected through. So I saw that team. Ironically enough, they flew on the flight with me, and then they were on the field that I was managing.
That's incredible.
And then the team 4272 Maverick Robotics, which is out of Lafayette, Indiana. And I don't know for certain, but that's the first time I'm aware of an Indiana team winning a world championship.
That's something else.
So that was pretty cool.
They probably had help from us.
Yeah.
Somehow
or another. And then in the finalists, the overall finalists, there was a Michigan team that finished up as a finalist. And that team is out of Freeland, Michigan, Fabricators. And then because this is a world championship, team 1690 is Orbit, who is a defending world champion from last year. And the team is from Israel. This is a world championship where we invite other nations.
Absolutely.
So unlike, and I'm a sports guy,
Yeah.
but unlike the world champion of baseball or football,
It's not real world champion. There's an asterisk there.
yeah.
Okay.
So just a little bit of a wrap up. I was taking a look. Team Lancebot finished with a 6-4 record in qualification, but you're 75 teams there, and the competition is tough. And then there's also a little bit of networking that happens from past years. People partner, they'll partner from others from their region. So their record, they unfortunately didn't end up on an alliance, but had a great season overall. And then the average Joes, they, that they won the First Impact to represent the state of Michigan. They did not win First Impact award at at World, but they did win the Sustainability Award, which is basically things that allow them to be a first impact team. How do they keep their team going from year to year, and this pipeline that they have from Lego League to First Tech Challenge and so on. Yeah. They were able to convey those thoughts to the judges and walk away with an award. Plus, they were selected as an alliance partner, so another successful trip for them. Okay. Again, I mean, if you were to write down on a grease board and go, these are the goals, you'd write them down and people like, well, maybe we should, tamp down the goals a little bit, but they knocked it out of the park this year, definitely. So a lot to build on for them. The thing that's fun is I know I've met a lot of the students, the seniors. It's great for the seniors to have that and carry that on, kind of caps their time having been involved since Lego League to now finish this way. It's a great thing. It really is. And
speaking of going from Lego League all the way through First Robotics, maybe for those who might be interested in setting up their own team, maybe their school doesn't have a team, or maybe their team has a school and they just don't know if they should get involved, what's involved in it. Maybe they think, oh, well, I don't have the coding skill or I don't have the driving skill. There are other skills that you can demonstrate and take part in to be part of that team.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about how people should be thinking about it and how they can get involved?
Well, I mean, the best way is to find out if you're involved at a school. Start with the school and find out, is there a team that is a First Lego League, First Tech Challenge, or First Robotics? And if you start at the high school level, First Robotics generally knows who their feeders are, and start that way. There's always the opportunity to get involved. There are also community-based teams too. So, you can take a look at the First in Michigan website, firstinmichigan.org, and you can kind of drill down to, are there teams in the area? And we talked about, the season wrapped up, but already they have revealed the next theme.
Hold that.
Yes.
Okay. Hold that, because
we're holding.
Yeah. Because so the theme is really what dictates what the game, how the people are going to be coming about.
This year was all underwater.
All underwater.
Yes. So we've moved away from the water now.
Oh, okay. Volcanoes? Don't tell me.
I'm going to tell you, but I'm not going to
Deserts?
tell you.
Don't tell me.
Desserts?
Big cities?
Did you say desserts?
That perked you up. 7:49, it's the WSJM morning show. Checking in on the video live stream. Diane clarifies. She says, actually, she elaborated. She said, I love science and technology. I'm amazed what the teams come up with. It's so neat to have the opportunity to do this. Thanks to you and others, Tim. So thank you, Diane, for your interest and your comments there.
And
Mike, and Mike says, Mike Zemansky. Mike Z says, great to see you, Tim.
Good to see you too, Z.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining us on the video live stream. If you want to share this video with anyone, feel free. You can do it on Facebook. You can do it on YouTube. And if you miss any of this or any of the other robotics roundups that we've had, just go on our video page on either Facebook or YouTube. You can check out the archives. We've got them up there for WSJM.
I have to give a quick shout out. Mike Zemansky he was one of the key people in helping to get the First Tech Challenge, the middle school program, started. His kids are both alums of the program. One of his son I believe Nick has graduated from Michigan Tech now.
Congratulations.
Yes. And now Mike lives out of the area, but he's still tied to the area and tied to the average Joes, definitely.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, congratulations to all teams that that competed, to put a team forward, and especially those that were able to continue going on forward through state and through Worlds. We'll get back to this interview with Tim Dunaj in just a moment, right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
Actors you can count on.
Mostly sunny skies today. We have warm temperatures as well. We do end up in the upper 70s and low 80s this afternoon with light winds. Tonight, this evening, quiet. We'll see increasing clouds overnight and a chance of a few showers. We drop to 57. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, off and on a few showers and thunderstorms with a high of 72. I'm WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Carrie Pujol.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:51 and 51 degrees in Benton Harbor, St. Joseph, South Haven, pretty much all across Southwest Michigan. We've got temperature in the low 50s right now and that sunshine out there. We're talking with Tim Dunaj. He is a robotics expert, first robotics
Let's
expert.
clarify robotics.
First robotics expert. But let's make this part of our Moody on the Market update. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. If you're just joining us, Tim and I have been talking about First Robotics, the world's competition were last weekend, right?
Yes.
And we sent 3 teams from our area: New Buffalo, Stevensville, and St. Joseph. They sent their teams, and they did well. Nobody came out world champion,
but they got
close.
Yes. Well, one team lost to the world champion. That was their exodus. So
that's fantastic. And we talked just a second ago about how people can get involved with their teams, and it starts early. What's the earliest you can get into first Lego?
So First Lego League is First Lego League Explore is K through 3. There's a pre-K program, but we don't have anybody that's really doing it, and we don't have a competition or an exposition for it.
So there's a challenge there, but you can start early and you can take it all the way through high school. And I'm sure some of these are taking it into college and making it their career.
Yes, that definitely making it into their career.
Did you see the robot that was the world champions?
Yeah, there was a team of 4. Amazing. They won an award. Actually, the entire alliance. I was just looking. The entire alliance won awards on our field.
Wow.
So out of 6, we give out 6 awards for the machines themselves. They won some of those awards. And the cool thing is I won't tell you any of the debate that happened, but I get to hear that debate amongst the judges.
Oh,
and why this one versus that one. And that's some of the secrets that happen inside the judging
give
room.
us a little insight. I mean, what are they talking about?
I could tell you, but
yeah, we just lost audio there.
Yeah, just lost audio.
And so your key takeaway when we first started this interview is that our area teams did very well, and there was a whole lot of cooperation going on, cooperation and competition. And that's really what First Robotics is all about. Not only the science, the technology, the engineering, the arts, the mathematics, but it's about working with other people.
Yes,
in a great way to collaborate and build each other up and win.
You're leading me into something here, and I want to make sure there's a couple of things I want to wrap on
real
quick. But I've told you before, Dr. Woody Flowers is one of the founders, and this is on the back of. This is why I brought my name tag, because a couple of years ago they started adding this to the back of the name tag. Gracious professionalism is part of pursuing a meaningful life. One can add to society and enjoy the satisfaction of knowing one has acted with integrity and sensitivity. And that is Woody Flowers is probably I had the opportunity to meet him twice. And the more I get to know about him, I wish I'd known him a lot longer. Unfortunately, passed away a couple of years ago, but his spirit definitely lives throughout the entire program. And that one is always one that kind of gets me. That's probably the first time I read through that without tearing up, because it did just I know that myself and the other volunteers and the mentors who are involved with the program, if those are the kind of things that we're leaving for students to carry into the world, that's a good message to have. That's the vibe that is entirely at a first competition. Have no idea what happened on Fox, MSNBC, CNN, or nothing during that week, but I can tell you all about gracious professionalism I saw.
Love that.
And the future is already our kickoff for FRC will be January 10th next year.
First robotics competition.
Okay. But before that, First Lego League, everything instead this year was First Dive. Everything was under the water themed. This next year is First Age archaeology. So it is, and we've done something like this only in one of in First Tech Challenge a couple years ago, but now all of them will be themed this way. So Lego League will be Unearthed is the name of the game. Decode is the First Tech Challenge, and then First Robotics competition will be Rebuilt. So there will be teasers that'll come out. We'll probably see a teaser because the game gets revealed for Lego League August 5th. So probably in July timeframe, you'll see a little bit more of a teaser, and then they'll do a reveal for the entire thing. So they've already set the theming for the next year. And, we've got things to look forward to, what is going to be the next game moving into next year. Also the Hall of Fame team, that is the average Joes went and interviewed for the first Impact Award. The one that wins across the world becomes the Hall of Fame team.
Okay.
They basically, for 5 years, they don't interview anymore because you've reached the mountaintop.
Wow.
Why do you need to go again?
Yeah.
But the team was from Wollongong, New South Wales, Australia.
Okay.
Project Bucephalus, which is a community-based team and brings science, technology, engineering, mathematics to Indigenous people, and builds a program where people don't have the opportunity.
Oh, okay.
It just impressive as all get out. So,
Yeah.
it was, it was the cap. I did not get to see that one in person. I was on a plane. I pulled into my driveway and watched the last match of the competition because I was streaming it.
Wow.
My wife did ask me how traffic was, and I'm like, I don't really know. I was kind of, but not necessarily on the traffic.
Tim, we've got just a couple of seconds here, so I've got to get a couple of messages in, but we'll wrap up in just a moment. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
We're watching over you.
Pesky commercial messages. Somehow we got to make money, I guess.
Got to have those.
So sorry about that, but
no
we'll
worries.
come back. And for those who are still listening on the video live stream right now, anything else? What other kits did you bring in?
This is just my.
You got the notepad thing
this
there?
Is the notepad.
Oh, that-
Yeah, this is
okay.
the pit map for my teams, or for the.
Here, closer to the microphone, please.
Oh, this is the pit map for the 75 teams, color coded, which group
wow.
of judges had to go see. And these, if I did not give you a map and told you to go talk to a team, you'd be lost.
You'd never find them.
You'd be lost. First time I ever did it in St. Louis, I walked in and I'm like, I just want to see 5 teams. I couldn't find them. I was ready to either go cry in the corner or I went over to information and they were like, just look at the different color curtains.
Oh, no.
It was the Rosetta Stone.
All right. We've got to get this in and that in, and then we'll come back. What else? Anyone you need to thank?
I'll throw a couple of quick thank yous out too. And then also,
You have to do it right now.
okay, so the thank yous are definitely to WSJM,
Oh,
Paul Landecker, Brian Sorensen,
Yeah.
and you.
thank you.
The show began about 10 years ago. I think we hit on that.
Yeah.
And I know I had to step away from it a little bit, but I enjoy being a part of it. And I more than anything, I enjoy the exposure and the opportunity it gives for the students.
Yeah.
They love, and being able to come back in the studio again.
One moment, and we'll finish this up on the WSJM Morning Show.
Proudly serving our community. The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
We're at 7:59 and 30 seconds, Tim. So I've got to cut it off here so we can get to our ABC News. But you were heaping praise on several individuals here who started Robotics Roundup, Paul Landecker, Brian Sorensen, and others. But we want to thank you, because without your expertise, without your knowledge, without your historical context, we couldn't make sense of this. So thank you very much. We appreciate
I
it.
appreciate the opportunity. Love being a part of it.
Absolutely. We'll look forward to it next year.
Next year, nothing. We'll see you probably in the fall when we get to talk about Lego League and First Tech Challenge.
It's 8 o'clock.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Tens of thousands